everybody. So today for book time, we are going to be reading this book. And I wonder, what do you notice about the cover of this book? So you notice that there's a cat, and yep, that is Pete the cat. And what is he wearing? He's wearing a shirt, right? And what do you notice about his shirt? He has different buttons on it, right? So the title of this book is called Pete the Cat, and it's 4 Groovy Buttons. Created and illustrated by James Dean. Story by Eric Litwin. So what do we notice about this page? You see that there's a window. There's a clock right here. And he's wearing his shirt with his buttons. And I wonder what number this is. That's a number 4, right? Pete the cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much, he sang this song. My 4 groovy buttons. My 4 groovy buttons. So he has a number 4 right here, and he has his 4 groovy buttons. So what do you notice about this page? So Pete the cat is sitting on a chair, and a red chair, and oh my gosh, what do you notice about his shirt? A button popped off, right? Pop! Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rode away. How many buttons are left? So he has 4 buttons, and one of them popped off. So that means he has 1, 2, 3. 3 buttons. 1, 2, 3. 3 buttons left on his shirt. Let's see what happens. 3. 4 minus 1 is 3 equals 3. 1, 2, 3. So just like we said, he has 3 buttons left on his shirt because one of his 4 buttons popped off. 3 groovy. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My 3 groovy buttons. My 3 groovy buttons. 3 groovy. So he had 4, he lost 1, and he just kept singing his song about his groovy buttons. Let's find out what happens next. Alright, what do you notice about this picture? He's standing on a skateboard, and he's on the sidewalk, and oh my goodness, what do you notice about his button? Another one popped off, right? Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rode away. How many buttons are left? So he started off with 4, one of them rode away, and now another one's rolling away. So how many do we have left? 1, 2. 2 buttons are left now. Oh my goodness. 2, because 3 minus 1 equals 2. 2. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my buttons, my two groovy buttons. My buttons, my buttons, my two groovy buttons. So he started off with 4, 2 rode away, and now he only has 2 more left. Now what do you notice about this picture? So Pete the cat has ice cream. There's an ice cream truck. And what do you notice happened to his shirt? Another button popped off. Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rode away. How many buttons are left? Now he had 2. One popped away, and how many is left is? 1. 1 button's left. 2 minus 1 is 1. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My button, my button, my one groovy button. My button, my button, my one groovy button. So he started out with 4 and now he only has 1, right? So let's see what happened to this button. Now where do we notice him at? Where is he at now? He started off in his house on his chair. He went on a skateboard. He got ice cream. And now where do you see him at? He's at the beach, right? He's sitting on top of a car on a surfboard. And what happens? The last button pops off. Pop! Oh no! The last button popped off and rode away. How many buttons are left? So he started off with 4. He was sitting on his chair, 1 popped off. Then he was on a skateboard, another popped off. And then he was getting ice cream in an ice cream truck, and another one fell off. A third one fell off. And now he's on top of the car on a surfboard, and his last one popped off. So how many does he have left? Look at his shirt. How many buttons do you have left? 0, right? He doesn't have any left. Let's find out what happens, what he does. 0. 0 buttons are left, like we said, because 1 minus 1 equals 0. So like we said, his last button popped off, so that means he has 0 left, because 1 minus 1 equals 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? So what do you think he saw? He has no more buttons. What else do you think he saw? His stomach? Maybe he saw his stomach. Let's find out. His belly button. So y'all were right. His belly button. You see his belly button right here? He saw his stomach, but what's on your stomach? A belly button. And he kept on singing his song. My button, still have my belly button. My button, still have my belly button. It's all good. So he seemed alright, right? He lost all his buttons, but he's out on the beach surfing. Surfing it up. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness, no. We keep on singing. There's Pete the cat and his 4 buttons rolling away. Buttons come and buttons go. There goes his buttons. The end. So that's the end of the book we read today, Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. So throughout the book, Pete the Cat put his favorite shirt on that had his 4 groovy buttons, and each button kept falling off. And I wonder, how do you think that made him feel that his buttons keep falling off? And how do you think he solved his problem? And also create a song with your favorite toy. Maybe you have trucks or cars, or maybe you have ponies. Create a song with your ponies, like Pete the Cat created with his buttons. And don't forget to post it on Flipgrid for us to check it out.